and welcome to this week's School Talk. My name is Niamh and I am a speech and language therapist with Evelina London's Children and Young People's Speech and Language Therapy Service. This week we are going to be talking about comic strip conversations and also, as always, sharing a tip of the week. So this week's session is mainly directed towards those children who are in Key Stage 2 and 3. You might find it useful to use with a younger child, but just be aware that you might need to adapt your language to cater for the younger ones. We have lots of other videos catering for other age groups, so please have a browse through our page and hopefully you'll find something that is suitable for you and your child. So the activity today is going to be creating a comic strip conversation. And it's around talking about your child's day at school or a social interaction that they've had with somebody else. A little bit of background on comic strip conversations, and they are a simple visual representation of conversations. They use stick figures and symbols to represent a social interaction that your child has had during their day, and they can include things that were said in conversation, how people might be feeling, and what people's intentions might be. And by looking back on conversation with friends or during a time of play while drawing, you're making sense of those more abstract elements of social communication, like recognizing feelings, and you're making them a little bit more concrete for your child, therefore easier to understand. So your child will take lead in drawing a situation while also talking to you about it, and you'll be able to support them by using some question prompts that we'll be going through today in our activity. So you can help them to share more information by thinking of different perspectives, asking simple questions, and using some of the prompt pictures that we will be running through. All I've used for the resources for today's session is some pen and paper. So please feel free to join in, draw some resources yourself, and have a go at using these at home with your child. I'm going to be using a visual timetable, as always, just one that I really simply did myself at home. Again, just with some pen and paper, and feel free to use something like this at home. Okay, so let's get started. So we have our visual timetable here, and we have said our hello and had our introduction, so we will cross that out. So next on our visual timetable, we have our tip of the week. So the tip of the week this week is to use visuals to help your child share information. And that's basically what today's school talk is about, because we're using comic strip conversations, which is a visual support, to help your child share how interactions went that day at school or some kind of social interaction event that they'd like to talk through. They're doing this by using the comic strip conversations, and visuals can really support your child's understanding and ability to talk about their day. So that is our tip of the week this week. So we can cross that out. And we can get started with our activity. So our activity this week is taking a look at what a comic strip conversation might look like. So if this is your first time using a comic strip conversation, you can have a little bit of a practice with your child first by making some small talk around something like the weather. And this will basically let your child become familiar with drawing while also having a conversation with you. And it's kind of mimicking that ordinary social interaction. So you're going to be asking your child a range of questions about specific situations or social interaction, for example, their day at school, lunchtime, PE class, and you're allowing your child to speak and draw their response to these questions. To help you with some of these question prompts, I have drawn out a really simple visual here that you can go through. So we'll have a little look, and that's again just with some pen and paper. So we might have a question prompt of where. So where did the event happen? You might think about who was there. Next we have, what were you doing when the event took place? When did it happen? What happened? So you might be kind of going into the details of the event there. What was said, or what did you say? What were you thinking? How were you feeling? And then what might we do next time? So we might be doing something different next time and thinking about the future and what we might change. So for the purpose of this activity, let's take a made-up situation that we will use today to show you how you can use those comic strip conversations at home with your child. So using our visual question prompts, let's take a situation that might have happened today in class. So where did it happen? It might have happened today in computer class. So your child might be drawing, as you're asking these question prompts, the where to their event. You might be asking who was there. So let's say we're in computer class and we have the teachers and other peers in the class also there. What were you doing? Your child might have been finishing a maths activity on the computer. When did it happen? It might have happened after lunch, so they were in computer class after lunch. Talking about an event that might have happened, so let's say the teacher shouted your child's name. So the teacher was shouting your child's name, and you might say what was said or what did you say. You might also look at what you were thinking. So your child might have been thinking and feeling upset because they might have just wanted to finish their work on the computer. And you might also think about what the teacher might have been feeling at the time. So the teacher might have been feeling that nobody was listening and they were still playing on their computers. So you can have a look at these questions and start to kind of tease out the main parts of the event. So the where, the who, what were you doing? And then start to look at what you might do different next time. So your child and you might come up with the conclusion that next time you will listen to your teacher and finish the activity when requested to do so. And this is just one example of how you can use these question prompts and comic strip conversations to have a general conversation about an event that happened, but teasing apart and supporting your child to retell their story and kind of tease apart really what happened in the event. And it's just one example of how we can use the comic strip conversations, and it's describing what happened in school. But it's also looking at those more abstract themes and the abstract parts. So perspective of the teacher and how they might be feeling, and also how your child might be feeling at the time, and looking at the kind of emotions that you were feeling. You can also advance these activities, like previously said, so asking further questions. What was the teacher feeling? How might other children in the classroom have been feeling? And why? The whys do you think your teacher shouted your name? So you're looking at all of those kind of more abstract elements. And these question prompts can really be useful in any aspect of storytelling to use with your child at home. So feel free to use a resource like this in any kind of storytelling activity, not just talking about their day, but if they're trying to tell you about a situation, what kind of prompts can you give your child to support that act of storytelling? So it's great for your child also to see a model of how to draw and talk at the same time about a conversation or event that happened. So why don't you try at home telling a story or telling an event that happened in your day using the comic strip conversation? And they can learn how you talk about your day, how you're drawing and saying it at the same time. And maybe also they could use some of the question prompts to help you talk about the event that had occurred. So you're looking kind of back at reflecting, and giving them that model as well will help them use comic conversations in the future. So that is our activity for the day. So let's cross that off. And all we have left is our summary and goodbye. So I hope you enjoyed today's session, and you can maybe try use comic strip conversations at home. Also try and have a go at using a visual timetable. As you can see, it's really easily made and used in today's session. It doesn't have to be super specific or based on times, but just a rough kind of estimation of what might happen during the course of your day or your weekend to help with your child's understanding. If you have any other questions, feel free to have a look at our website, especially on the advice and support section, and hopefully you'll get some information there. And otherwise, we'll see you back here next week for our next School Talk video. Okay, thank you. Bye.